Landesman sharing the history of an anagram and the war over calculus.
Thank you. So I like to fold paper models. I designed this sailboat model. I like simple models. This sailboat is made from a square. And I also enjoy folding large sheets of corrugated plastic. I led a workshop where my two neighbors participated, and after about 3 days, they had a kayak that they could paddle in Lake Champlain. But most of all, I enjoy making models of ideas. And I made a model of this, created this model of a cube and a sphere. This illustrates a thought experiment from John Locke's essay concerning human understanding. And I created a set of models around this book, the essay. And someone who had a lot of insight into this model, into this thought experiment, was Leibniz, G.W. Leibniz. So when I finished up with the Locke exhibit, I turned to Leibniz and I wanted to make a model of the first paper he wrote, the first paper to present the method of calculus. It was called Nova Methodus. It was published in 1684. And what is calculus? Well, calculus is the mathematics of change. We don't live in a static world. We live in a world that is dynamic and full of change. If you take a copper wire and you wrap it around a magnet, you spin the magnet, that creates electricity. The physics, the laws that describe this phenomenon are written in calculus. So Leibniz, when he wrote Nova Methodus, when he published Nova Methodus, didn't realize that there was another treatise that was also about calculus. Isaac Newton wrote this treatise on calculus long before Nova Methodus was published, but it was published long after Nova Methodus. Newton was a person very different from Leibniz. Leibniz loved to talk to people, he loved to travel. Newton kept to himself. He was fearful of getting into arguments with other people. He only shared his manuscripts with a few close, trusted friends. In fact, he thought about calculus as his secret fountain. That was a phrase he used about it, his secret fountain. Leibniz was on his way to discovering that secret fountain when he went to London to meet with Newton. Newton didn't want to meet with him, but they exchanged a few letters. Newton wrote Leibniz 2 letters. In the second letter, he made a profound statement about calculus. But he put it in a form that Leibniz couldn't read it, because he took the statement and he scrambled the letters of the statement. He made it into an anagram. He said, oh, I don't have time to talk about this, so I'm going to conceal it. So if you scramble up letters of a sentence, they're indecipherable. But if you're the person who wrote that sentence, you know how to rearrange the letters so that when you rearrange them, they come back together and they are intelligible. You can understand what they mean. So why did Newton do this? I have a theory. My theory is that he actually wanted to stake a claim. He wanted to leave evidence that he was the first to arrive at calculus. And he puts this stake in the ground, and he leaves that evidence. So when does he reveal the solution to the anagram? He reveals it in his most important work, in his work on physics called Principia Mathematica. And he writes about the correspondence with Leibniz, and I'm going to have to turn to read this to you. Given an equation involving any number of fluent quantities, to find the fluxions and vice versa. So what are these fluxions? What are these fluents? Well, one way to think about fluxions is these orange stones. These are the fluents. And the red stones are the fluxions. The red stones measure the differences between columns of orange stones. And you can go from these orange stones over to a group of red stones. So you can proceed left to right. You get rid of the orange stones under the red stones. You collapse the red stones. You got a new curve. That curve retains some information about the orange curve. From it, you can learn the slope of the tangent. But you can also go back in the other direction. You can go from these red stones, you can stack them up in this way, and then you can bring orange stones underneath the red stones, get rid of the red stones, you're back at the orange stones. This still retains information about those red stones. This gives you the area under the curve. So you can go in either direction. Now, after Newton published Principia, what happened is that there was a huge fight. The supporters of Leibniz and the followers of Newton each accused the other leader of theft, of stealing. And this divided England, the mathematicians in England, from the mathematicians in the continent. Some people say it inhibited mathematics in England for over 100 years. What did Newton have to say about this? It doesn't matter who stole what, because second inventors have no rights. Today, we think about it a bit differently. We think the first to publish is the first to have rights. So the next time you're rearranging letters to work on an anagram, say for the New York Times spelling bee, think of the anagram at the start of the war over calculus. Thank you.